So you've probably seen from the thumbnail and the title that I have finally picked up what I think is one of the most iconic travel watches out there. This is the Rolex GMT Master II. And if you stick around for the rest of this video, I'm gonna walk you through the experience of getting the call, heading over to my AD, and picking up this beautiful watch. All right, a bit of a different video because after 3+ years of being on the wait list at Rolex, I finally got the call and they have my watch in, and that's what we're gonna go get today. All right, y'all, welcome back to the channel. This is just a quick and dirty video. I'm filming on the iPhone right now with my forward-facing camera. I'm not prepared for any of this stuff, but I got a quick call from Rolex because I've been on the wait list for a very specific watch, and I've been on that list for over 3.5 years. Which is totally fine for me. I'm not in a rush to purchase an expensive watch. It's something I specifically wanted, something I've been waiting for the entire time. I'm also not someone who's going to go to the gray market and pay above retail prices. And I did finally get the call. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna head over to my Rolex dealership. I've been working with the same salesperson for the last several years. And yeah, after waiting, this is one of the most in-demand watches, and I hopefully will finally get my hands on it. But anyways, that's a lot of preamble. We will pick up this conversation after I head over and pick up my new watch. So I'm just gonna narrate over this part because I didn't want to film at my AD, but after getting the call, I found some time after work to head over to meet my AD, Brandon. He's over at Shreve & Co. I've been shopping with them for several years now. I've actually picked up a couple of beautiful Rolexes from them that I wanted in my collection. And this GMT right here, this was one of the other watches that I had been waiting for quite a while. Now, once I got to their newly opened boutique, the experience again was fantastic. Quickly went up, said hi to Brandon, took me into their private showing room, which was great. My daughter was with me, so they had some chocolates, they had some water ready for us, and he already had the watch in the showroom, kind of locked away, ready for the big reveal. And after 3 years, here is the Rolex GMT Master II. For those of you that are into watches, it's reference number 126710 BLNR, AKA the Batman, which again, I personally love, just a childhood thing, big fan of Batman, but I've always wanted to get my hands on this particular model, and it was definitely worth the wait. Now, the rest of the experience after that was pretty simple. Got to gawk at it, play with it, hold it, take some photos, get a little bit video, and then I had it sized up, paid for it, and out the door on my way back home to play with it some more. But let's come back to the studio so we can actually talk about the watch itself. As you guys know, this isn't a watch channel, and it's not something I'm going to talk a lot about on this channel, but we are a travel and a tech channel. And this, in my opinion, is one of the most iconic travel watches for collectors out there. And not that you asked for it, but I want to give you some history on the GMT and why I love it so much as a travel watch. But it was originally designed in collaboration with Pan American Airlines in the 1950s. So it is a pilot's and a navigator's watch. And because of that, it's designed to track multiple time zones for long haul flights. And that GMT function is exactly what I was looking for in a travel watch. If you've watched my channel before, you know another one of my favorite travel watches is my Rolex Explorer 2, which also has a GMT function built into it. I know we all have phones, but I really like it, and that's why I wanted this particular watch. And for me, it symbolizes a lot of achievement and success in some of the goals that I've set to travel the world. In the last 3 years, since I put my name on this list, I've traveled hundreds of thousands of miles around the world. London, Sydney, Asia, all over the US, Italy. So the watch itself is less of a tool, although it does work great for tracking multiple time zones, but it is definitely more of a symbolic purchase and a symbolic win for achieving my goal to travel more and all the things that I've accomplished over the last 3 years. So That's all I'll say about that. It's not like I need to justify how I spend my money. You're also all adults. You don't have to justify how you spend your money and what you buy to anybody else. That's just the backstory around why I wanted to buy this and why it was worth waiting 3 years for me. Now, for those of you out there that are looking to flip watches or in the business of kind of changing up your collection often, yeah, 3 years is a long time. And for some of you, it's not worth waiting. I just don't believe in paying gray market prices for something that I can get at significantly less. And as a collector, I think the waiting and the chase is all part of the fun and the journey and adds a lot more to the experience and value of finally getting it in my hands and onto my wrist. Okay, so sorry about all of the upfront, but let's just get to the watch. I mean, this thing is absolutely beautiful in my opinion, because I've been waiting for it for so long. And as I mentioned, I think it's one of the most iconic travel watches out there. When you look at something like this, it is definitely recognizable as one of the most popular and sought after Rolex models, sports models, available. And the black and blue is exactly the color scheme that I've wanted. Like I mentioned, I've been working with my AD, Brandon and Shreve & Co. for quite a while. I'll drop in, I'll check out the Pepsi. I know they launched the Bruce Wayne, which is the black and gray one that I was interested in. But this was always my number one choice, specifically because the color and because of its connection to Batman. That's just, again, childhood stuff. Anyways, let's talk about the watch, right? So it's all stainless steel. I have it on the Oyster bracelet. It's got the built-in micro adjustments, very similar to some of the other watches that I have. Also very different than the Submariner, which has a lot more adjustability. This is simply a 5mm snap adjustment, which is perfectly fine for hot days and, again, when you're just a little bit more bloated than you would normally be. Technical specs, maybe if there's some of you watch enthusiasts that are watching or coming from other watch channels that are interested, it is a 40mm case, 12.5mm in height. I think the design and the way that they taper off the case makes it look great. So even though it's relatively large compared to, say, some of my dress watches, I think it fits really well on my wrist. I personally prefer a 40, but because this is a GMT, it's got the additional height of the bezel, so it can look chunkier on some. I personally love it, and that's probably no surprise. Since we're talking about the bezel, because it is a GMT function, it is a bi-directional bezel. Using the bezel actually is what gives you the ability to track a third time zone. So for me, how I use this is I use the 24-hour hand to always track my home time zone. And then I use the standard minute and hour hand to track local time. So for example, if I head over to Italy, I will change the minute and the 12-hour hand to be local Rome time, and I will keep my home time zone on that 24-hour track. And for those of you that are looking to track a third time zone, you can use the bezel and you adjust that based on the time zone difference between, say, your home and London, right? For example, that's 8 hours ahead. So I would dial this forward 8 hours and I would use the 24-hour hand to kind of math backwards where it sits. That's a little bit too much math for me. I never need to track 3 time zones. So it's there though if you need it. For the watch nerds out there, this is using Rolex's in-house caliber 3285 movement. It has 70 hours of power reserve. Probably not as important for a lot of people who would just have this as a daily wear watch. And of course, recently, this is the only thing that's had any wrist time, so I don't need 70 hours of power reserve. But once I get some more wear out of this, I'll probably switch it up. And it is nice to be able to place this down or into the case for a few days, come back and not have to set my time or date again. Now, from a functional standpoint, things that make it a fantastic travel watch other than the multi-time zone tracking is it's durable. This is obviously built like a tank. The stainless steel version is fantastic. It's got a good amount of weight, not as heavy as the precious metal Rolexes out there, which I prefer when I'm traveling. The other thing that I really like about it is 100 meters of water resistance, more than enough. I don't go diving. I don't do a lot of that stuff. If I needed to, I'd probably try to get my hands on a sub, but I prefer this. It's great for swimming, the pool, ocean, whatever you're gonna do on most travel and trips that doesn't involve scuba diving or going below 330 feet into the ocean. Another thing that's nice about it from a functional standpoint, I have the Oyster Steel bracelet, like I mentioned, versus the Jubilee bracelet, which is available for the Batman as well. And because this is the sports model versus say some of my Datejust, this has the Oyster lock system here. So I have an additional locking mechanism. Makes it a little bit harder for people to steal this from you. Although if you are traveling in areas where you should be careful, I would probably, you know, put it under my sleeve, maybe put it in the case, lock it up. Really depends on you. Always be aware of where you're going and where you're traveling to. But the additional Oyster lock gives me a tiny bit of additional peace of mind. So let's just chat a little bit more while I show you beautiful B-roll shots of this watch. Hopefully that's why you're here. But let's go back to the Rolex market itself. Like I mentioned, I'm not a watch channel. I'm not an expert on the market, but as a collector and as someone who is really invested in this brand and collecting timepieces from different brands like Omega and Tudor and all of these other fantastic watchmakers out there, it can be very frustrating to have to wait and play what they call the Rolex game in order to spend tens of thousands of dollars. Now, it really depends on your way of collecting, your reasons for buying the watch. For me, I don't know, I just chalk it up to the name of the game. I don't want to pay gray market prices, and as I mentioned before, I'm not really in a rush to drop tens of thousands of dollars. So sometimes having that longer wait works out perfectly for me. In this case, a lot has changed for me in 3 years. I've found a lot of success in my career. I've grown this YouTube channel quite a lot, and I've traveled so much more than I have in the 3 years than I have my entire life. And because of that, you know, you really forget that you're even on a wait list. And when I finally got the call, cool, I was ready to pick it up. But again, if you're in the market for something like this, patience is really going to be key, unless you want to pay the markup on the gray market. And I personally just don't believe in doing that. The other thing that I will say is it probably depends on your AD and where you live and how lucky you get and who you're working with. For me, I live in an area where there are probably a crap ton of collectors with huge purchase histories that have been buying watches and are building their collections for decades with a lot of the same retailers. Shreve & Co, for example, has been around for a really long time, and that's why I like working with them. But the wait list there is probably pretty long compared to, say, like an AD in the middle of nowhere. And because of that, I had my expectations set from the beginning. But with that said, I actually still had a really great experience, even the waiting period. I'm a watch enthusiast, I'm a collector, so occasionally I like to drop in, say hi, check out the new models, just chit chat about watches in general, and that's perfectly fine with me. Sometimes models become available that I'm not that interested in, and I'm totally fine with turning down watches as well. So it really depends on your personal journey as a collector and how badly you want something. For me, I think waiting, finding, searching, all of that adds to the experience of finally getting the watch you wanted, the exact watch you wanted, and it's not something that I was looking to compromise on either. So for me to be able to get the exact watch in the exact configuration that I was looking for is perfect. But there was, of course, a wait time for that. The other thing that I will say, maybe for those of you in the Bay Area, what I did notice with Shreve & Co is, of course, if you had been shopping with them for a while, they were always a smaller boutique, so they had the Rolex part of their business in like a side corner of their original boutique. 6 months ago, they were converted to a full-on Rolex boutique, so a significantly larger storefront. And ideally, that probably opened up a lot more inventory, or at least buying power from Rolex for them to get more models in for their long customer list. And if that's the case, then yeah, let's just say they opened their new boutique in November and I got mine in May. So since that opening, all of the new inventory that they ordered, maybe it took 5 or 6 months to get me what I wanted. I don't know if that's true, but I'd like to think that because they are a larger, full-on Rolex boutique now, that their ability to get high demand models is better than, say, some of the smaller ADs that I had talked to and worked with in the past, which is why I just primarily stick with Shreve & Co. Anyways, this was more of just like a life vlog video. It didn't really have a purpose but to share with you that I finally got my travel watch. And again, maybe this video helps some of you that are also waiting on it. I mean, it's not going to speed up the process, but maybe it gives you a little bit of comfort that they do have them and you will get your watch eventually, depending on your AD and how much inventory they're able to get. But I'm really happy with finally being able to get this off my list. And I probably got a couple more that I'm gonna have to ask Brandon about now that I've finally got the GMT Master II in my collection. All right, if you guys like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for maybe more videos like this, probably not. But thank you for watching. I will catch y'all in the next one.